Taking pictures of moving objects can be difficult. If you set your shutter too slow, your object is going to be blurry. But if you speed the shutter up, you can freeze an object in time, string enough of those together, and you can recreate motion. Sure, easy enough for taking photos on the side of the road. But what if you wanted to capture something much smaller and much faster, like an electron circling an atom? Until recently, our ability to see the movement of electrons was still quite blurry, but that's changing. This is the SLAC National Accelerator Laboratory in Silicon Valley, home to the LINAC coherent light source, one of the world's most powerful X-ray lasers. In 2023, scientists brought online a second, more powerful laser called the LCLS-2. Now, they're adding a suite of new tools to LCLS-2 that they hope will allow us to see and understand the movement of electrons like never before.
And this is really important because the very first step of any kind of chemical process is electron motion.
That could mean learning more about photosynthesis to help in our development of clean energy tech, or imaging proteins to better understand our own biology. This is thanks to two new major advances to LCLS-2 from the first iteration. First, it can deliver X-ray light at intensities 10,000 times brighter than the original laser.
And then the second one is kind of like related to this idea of the camera, the shutter speed. That we can get shutter speeds on the scale of attoseconds.
In attosecond, the unit of time needed to measure the movement of atomic particles, is close to a billionth of a single second.
2 attoseconds is to a second, as a second is to the age of the universe. So you'd say, wow, that's really like the blink of an eye, except it's so much shorter than a blink of an eye.
SLAC's first accelerator was built in the 1960s. It predated many of the more famous circular accelerators, like the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland. In 2009, they turned on LCLS-1, their first hard X-ray-free electron laser, or FEL for short. An FEL works by firing electrons down a conductor at close to the speed of light. As the electron beam travels, it passes through a series of alternating magnets to wiggle the electrons. The wiggling electrons generate an X-ray beam that flashes or pulses. The original version could fire about 120 pulses per second. Think of those pulses as frames we mentioned before, snapshots of movement at the atomic level.
With the first version of LCLS, we could see the primary thing that was happening, but we still had this blurry electron picture.
SLAC would take those snapshots and stitch them together in a sort of movie, but it could take a week of work to capture only 10 blurry frames.
If you've watched 10 frames of any movie, you have no idea what's going on in that movie.
The new light source, LCLS-2, uses the same undulating magnet idea, but can create a beam that is much brighter and much faster. LCLS-2 can shoot up to 1 million pulses per second. So if the first laser was like taking a photo in the dark with a slow shutter speed, the new source is like having an ultra-fast shutter on a bright, sunny day.
So we make a very short shutter, and then we have a lot of pulses. By getting so many more pulses, you can look at much smaller processes. What is happening at this little corner of the molecule that you weren't able to pay attention to before? What used to take us a week now could take us an hour. And so now if it takes you an hour to make a frame, you can build up a lot more frames in the course of an experiment.
To operate so much brighter and so much faster than before, the new light source is what's called a superconductor.
So in traditional materials like those used for power grids, the energy when you transmit from one place to the other, there are a lot of losses. But in superconductors, this resistance is gone. It's zero.
To reach superconductivity, however, there's a catch. The entire system needs to be kept in a vacuum at temperatures close to those found in outer space.
Currently, most of the superconductors, they become superconducting around -100 Celsius.
To get the light source down to those sub-zero temperatures, SLAC installed its own cryo plant. The helium in this system works through a series of machines here that adjust its pressure, slowly stepping down its temperature. The cooled helium then runs down to the accelerator, keeping it icy cold. Back in the lab deep underground, the team are commissioning, or calibrating, one of the new tools that will allow them to glimpse at electron movements in more detail than ever before.
Right now we're commissioning a brand new instrument, and so we're really excited about this instrument because it gives us a new way to image what's going on inside of atoms and molecules.
The instrument allows the team to isolate a single molecule and focus the laser's energy on it. Over time, this causes the molecule to build up charge.
If you can put enough charge on the molecule, it will explode. And when it explodes, we use an electric field to collect all of those fragments, and we measure the momentum of the fragments. From the momentum, we can figure out what did the molecule look like. Now we can actually build a movie of what molecules do when you expose them to light that we couldn't take before.
These tools are drawing scientists from all around the world. What they learn here about the atomic world could help us form the foundation of technologies we haven't even imagined yet.
Today's computers, that is based on science from the 50s. We're shooting to understand the next generation of more complicated material. They're much more rich and complicated than the semiconductors such as silicon that's in your pocket right now. Our vision is by understanding these more complicated materials, we can make the type of devices that are going to exist in 20, 30, 40 years' time.
The first transistor wasn't just the vacuum tube made 10% better. It was a new technology. You need to do these fundamental research efforts so that you can figure out what is the next thing.